Welcome to the Sunshine State. Miami is ready and we're ready for practice.
All right, give me a quick radio check, please. Radio check.
Radio check.
Okay, let's have some nice steady laps here, please. Just a managed pace, like you would in the race. That's what's going to give us the best data. Because temperature's so important for your tyres, cool down laps are now vital after a push lap so that we don't light up the rubber too much, not to mention recharging the battery. This test is all about tyre management. Try to control the slip through each corner and take extra care putting the power down at the apex.
Consistency over a long distance is vital in Formula One, so being able to manage tyres and reduce tyre wear is a useful skill. The tyre management programme, available in free practice sessions, will help you to learn tyre management whilst earning resource points for development of your car. Be careful on the controls to reduce the amount of tyre slip and therefore wear. The better you can do this, the higher you'll score.
Okay, practice program over. That's all we need for now, so return to the garage as soon as you can.
Welcome back to Miami and welcome to qualifying. Only raw speed will separate these drivers today, but the question is, who's got what it takes to get pole?
Still got some work to do, so let's keep pushing, guys.
And that's it for sprint qualifying. Plenty more coming up over the rest of the weekend, so we'll see you all tomorrow. Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. Sitting at the southeastern coast of Florida, the Miami International Autodrome has 19 corners and 3.36 miles of racing. It's a circuit designed to encourage close racing while meeting the highest safety standards. Either way, I'm sure it's one that will please the fans. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Norris, Fernando Alonso, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Russell, Tsunoda, Piastri, Albon, and Nico Hülkenberg, Ocon, Behrman, Carlos Sainz, and Stroll, Antonelli, Bortoletto, Liam Lawson, and Isaac Hadjar, Gasly, and Jack Doohan rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint. And alongside me here today in the commentary box, Anthony Davidson. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and whilst there's not much rest on show in the sprint format today, there's definitely a change to what we're usually seeing on the track. Now, you're the racing driver in this partnership, so tell us about this racing driver. Put us in their shoes. How are they going to be feeling?
Well, you've got to be prepared, Crofty. Before you even step foot inside the car, you've got to know, you've got to have a pre-race game plan. You've watched videos before you get into the car of previous races gone by. You know where you have to place your car if X, Y, or Z happens in front of you or behind you. So having this clear game plan is absolutely essential before you get in the car.
Okay, give me a quick radio check, please. Radio check.
Radio check.
Okay, you've got a drive-through penalty. Radio check, radio check.
Radio check.
Now use DRS. DRS now available. Okay, you have some front wing damage, but not enough to justify a stop in the remaining laps.
Sorry guys.
The underbody's taken a little damage, just watch out for it.
checkered flag.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Top one, guys, but still got some points. Thank you for the continued efforts. Super proud of you, so let's keep pushing.
Okay, good job, mate. Really, really well done. That was a fantastic drive. Bring it home.
Great job.
Florida is no stranger to world-class sport, and as of 2022, the USA's Sunshine State is now on the F1 calendar. Welcome back to the Magic City for the Miami Grand Prix. A lap of the Miami Grand Prix features 3.36 miles of track around the Hard Rock Stadium, and 19 corners make up the Miami International Autodrome, which will challenge the drivers in a tight wheel-to-wheel race. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Verstappen, Oscar Piastri and Russell, Tsunoda, Hülkenberg, Ocon and Lance Stroll, Sainz, Lawson, Andrea Kimi Antonelli and Albon, Bortoletto, Hadjar, Fernando Alonso and Pierre Gasly. Doohan and Ollie Behrman rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. And alongside me in the commentary box today, a man who I always look up to, which is easier said than done, Anthony Davidson. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
Okay, mate. Radio check, please. Radio check.
Radio check.
DRS now enabled. DRS enabled. Great work, that's a new fastest lap of the race. Okay Lewis, we've got some clear track in front of us and let's make the best of it. So please make this next one a very fast lap.
Okay, mate, okay.
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. Yes, mate, we hit the target. Nice work. Okay, final lap. Let's go. Final lap.
Checkered flag.
Absolutely awesome. Just amazing, mate. Well done.
Fantastic weekend, guys. Really well done.
Thank you.
And Lewis Hamilton takes the checkered flag and once again wins.
And this really is, as we know, Crofty, a team game. And a performance from the driver like this today gives the team energy moving forwards. It's closely fought in the Constructors' Championship, and this will go a long way to boosting that energy as we move forward.
It's time to bring out the bubbly and spray it around. It's our podium celebrations. It's a familiar sight in Formula One, and here it is once again. Lewis Hamilton with the trophy held high, celebrating a masterful victory. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.